Hello, and thanks for watching my latest video in my series, Searching for the Messiah in Judaic Scriptures. Today we will be reading a messianic prophecy found in Zechariah 12, verse 10. We find a very early version of the verse in the Talmud, and I'd like to read that version for you first. Tractate Sukkah 52a from the Jewish Virtual Library states the verse this way. Zechariah 12:10, and they will look up toward me for everyone whom they have thrust through, and they will lament for him as one lamenteth for an only son, and weep bitterly for him as one weepeth bitterly for the firstborn. As you can see, the translators have purposely added words in parentheses that they believe clarify the meaning of the verse. However, if we take away those words, the verse very clearly reads, and they will look up toward me whom they have thrust through, and they will lament for him as one lamenteth for an only son, and weep bitterly for him as one weepeth bitterly for the firstborn. And the verse reads very differently here, but who exactly is the verse talking about? Well, one rabbi in Tractate Sukkah 52a feels that it's about the Messiah. If we look at the same verse found in the JPS 1917 version of the Bible, it reads this way, Zechariah 12:10, and I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication. And they shall look unto me because they have thrust him through, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. And you see here very clearly that it's talking about one specific person who has been thrust through, and whom Israel will mourn bitterly for. The prophecy does not end there. If we go to Zechariah 13, verse 1, it continues, in that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for purification and for sprinkling. If you look at verse 1, chapter 13 in Zechariah, you see here very clearly that it is on the day that Israel mourns for a person who has been thrust through. Now, when was that person thrust through? I will refer us back to our last video when we looked at Daniel chapter 9. In Daniel chapter 9, we learned that there were 70 weeks and they had been decreed upon the people and upon a holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sin and to forgive iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness. However, the following verses do not specifically state what ushered in everlasting righteousness. But if we look at verse 26, we see that there is an anointed prince that will be cut off. And so an anointed prince that was cut off before the destruction of the temple is the pierced Messiah talked about here in Zechariah 12 and Zechariah 13. We come to the conclusion that there was a man who was cut off when Rome ruled over Israel. And we see that when Israel finally mourns for this man who has been thrust through, there will be a purification and a sprinkling of the people of Israel. What do you think? I look forward to your comments. Until I see you next time, take care.